I met John Mayer through Joey Craig, who's also from Louisiana. Joey was managing this was when there were like tape, DVD, CD duplication plants. And my friend Joey was the manager of this duplication plant in Atlanta, Georgia. John had dropped out of Berkeley, dropped out of college and moved to Atlanta and was starting to play at a place called Eddie's Attic, where I had been. Eddie's was like a second home to me. And so my friend Joey introduced us because he knew that John was into blues, Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I grew up a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, Buddy Guy, he saw that we had a lot of this music in common. He was also, but that John was also a songwriter and wanted to meet other musicians. And, oh, I remember, John told Joey that the Sean Mullins song Lullaby represented the kind of bass playing that he wanted. He wanted that bass player. And so Joey said, well, I know that bass player and I'll introduce you to him and I think you guys would be good friends. So a few months later, after trying to meet up a few times and it didn't work out, we met up at Eddie's Attic, and it was just one of those things where we just clicked. We started talking, and it felt like a friendship that began with the first conversation. It definitely went both ways. We turned each other on to a lot of music, and working with him, you know, he's about 9 years younger than I, or maybe 7 years younger than I am. So, and I had already played on recordings that he grew up hearing, so I was supposed to be like the one that, you know, was senior. But really what it was we pushed each other. I learned a lot from working with John. He's a pretty autonomous person. He's, you know, has a 360-degree view of what he does artistically in terms of the visual, the lyrics, the music, how the melody and the content of the lyrics affect each other. These are things that he was really tuned into innately, probably from the time he was a teenager. And, but we did influence each other a lot. At that time, I was really into, and still now, but I was really into the idea that bass guitar could play the roles of different instruments. It could play the role of what a woodwind section would do in a small orchestra and play that kind of counter melody as opposed to a traditional bass guitar line, stuff like that. So, you know, as John was writing a lot of his material, he was writing it while we were sitting together with a drum loop, same drum loop. That whole first record was written with one drum loop, pretty much. And, but we did a lot of different things with it. And so I might introduce something rhythmically or melodic, you know, a counter melody that would then take him into a different direction and vice versa. The way he wrote was very fluid in real time. And there were actually times where we'd be playing a show, these shows at Eddie's Attic, where he would end up writing part of a song, starting a song or finishing a song on the fly. It would just come out. And that's how he was writing at that time. So yeah, there was a certain amount of egging each other on.